I'm dying, but somebody's gonna have a claw hammer in their head. So, picture this, I've got this truck with a spare on the rack that is torn from the rim all the way to the top of the tire, so the whole 35-inch tire, aspect ratio is gone. And it's on a jack with no rear tires. And I'm sitting in the middle of the desert by myself. I'm starting to get nervous. 22-year-old kid, middle of Baja on a road, foreign land. And of course, we've all heard the bandito stories, right? We've all heard the stories about how people, you know, gringos just get left for dead out there, and an hour goes by, John's not back yet. 2 hours go by, John's not back yet. Bandito stories running around in my head like a hamster wheel, you know. And so I get out, I go into my toolbox, and I grab a claw hammer that I used to carry, and I'm sitting in my Mastercraft. I got the hammer there. I've got a couple Diet Pepsis. I'm hopped up on caffeine. I'm getting prepared to drive home all night, right? So 3 hours goes by, and I'm like, oh no, this is bad. This ain't looking good. And then I see some headlights coming from the highway towards El Arco, towards where I'm sitting. I'm sitting in my truck facing El Arco. The highway's behind me, and I'm looking in the mirror, and the headlights are getting closer, and they shut off. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm gonna be one of those statistics. I'm gonna be one of them stories. I got my claw hammer in my hand. I'm dying, but somebody's gonna have a claw hammer in their head. And the headlights come back on, and they get closer, and they shut off. And I'm like, now they're just messing with me, you know? So I'm really ready now, and you can imagine, 22-year-old kid clutching a claw hammer in the middle of Baja. Banditos are coming to get him. So this goes on for literally, it seemed like an hour, and all of a sudden I can hear this truck coming, and it sounds like a coffee can full of bolts, you know, because that truck had probably been up and down that road a million times. And of course, they pull up on side of me, and I'm looking at them, scared as hell. They're looking at me like, what the hell's this truck doing, sitting up on a jack with no rear tires on it? And so they give me this look, like I can tell what they want to ask me is like, what the hell's the matter with you? What are you know, why are you here, and where are your wheels, you know? And so I said, oh, yeah, mi amigos, told them the name of the next town, can't remember what it is now. And they looked at me, and they're talking in Spanish, ba-da-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-da. And I think they figured it out. They offered me some tequila, which I refused, and they took off. They got about 100 yards, lights went back off, they got out. So what was happening is the ground wires were, you know, the thing was so loose that the grounds were coming off, the headlights were dying. Yeah, they had to stop and fix it. So I feel I'm in a special place in my life and with racing, because I can remember the days of begging for fuel on a pre-run. You know, we can talk about that too, you know, in a different year, going and pulling into a common do and having a guy siphon fuel out of a rusty 55-gallon drum and leaving us stranded every 20 miles blowing out fuel filters, you know, because that's happened too. Or pulling into the little town and going to the guy's house, and he's got fuel cans at his house, and he's siphoning fuel and then using his outhouse. I mean, and this was 2002, you know, but now, you know, I'm fortunate enough to be able to stay in nice hotels when I go and race and things like that, and, you know, racing these trucks that you see behind us, and this truck here and this truck here. And it's kind of neat to be able to have lived both sides and the middle, you know. And I think there's a lot of guys today that we all watch them on YouTube and Instagram, and they're building cool stuff. And, you know, those are the guys that the kids today are going to be looking up to, and that's pretty neat.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that story. Now, if you've been racing for a while and would like to share your story, please reach out to us in the links provided and help us achieve our goal of spreading racing stories to those outside the race car.